Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. ॐ मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। We'll chant the Sankalpa Vakhya of the first chapter together. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad-Bhagavad-Gītāsu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyāyā Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yoga Nama Prathamodhyāyah. This Sankalpa Vakhya, which is at the conclusion of every chapter, Bhagavan Shri Vedavyasji has included this to indicate that each chapter is potent enough, capable to help us reach the goal of human life. Just each chapter. And the Sankalpa Vakhya begins with Om Tat Sat. These three words, these words will be explained in the 17th chapter of the Gita by Bhagavan himself. But for now, we understand these are the names of the Lord only. The names of the Paramatma, Om Tat Sat. And some of the saints, they interpret saying Om by chanting Om. Vedavyasji wishes that this chapter, whatever has been spoken, however it has been expressed, presented, may that be pure, for purification. Then Tat means may anyone reading this, their mind be turned towards the Lord. And Sat means may the benefit of this remain eternal. So may this study of this Gita give eternal results, imperishable fruits. So Om Tat Sat. So remembering the Lord thus, and then saying iti. Iti two meanings, Om Tat Sat iti. If we see iti with Om Tat Sat means Bhagavan Vedvyasji says that's all. There is no other purpose of this Bhagavad Gita. That our mind becomes pure, it is turned towards the Lord, and we get that immortality over. Nothing else is required. And that is what will be achieved here. But iti also means in this manner, whatever verses have been discussed of after this was in this manner iti. So thus ends what? Prathamodhyaya, the first chapter. Now, what is this first chapter? So many words are there in between. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimat means that which has Shri. Now, what is Shri? Shri has various meanings. One meaning of Shri is wealth. It has a wealth of knowledge. It has a wealth of virtues. Shri also means beauty. It is beautifully presented in the form of this dialogue. So Shri, it has all Shri possible. Shrimat and Srimad Bhagavat. So Srimad also is an adjective for Bhagwan. Bhagwan is also Shriman. He himself has all the beauty, all the wealth, all the knowledge. That is why Bhagavan, the word Bhaga itself means eternal wealth. Wealth of what? What kinds? Or they also say divine traits. What kind of traits are we talking about? So it has everything that anybody would want. And they are just 6 in number. One is it is said Aishwaryasya Samagrasya. All Aishwarya means lordship. So lordship in infinite amount eternally, which is there. One who has. Then virtue, infinite virtue for eternity. It is there. Virtue. Then yasha, that good name, fame, glory, that is there in infinite measure forever. Wealth, that is also all types of wealth. And knowledge, infinite knowledge forever. And vairagya, that is dispassion. All these things in infinite measure are there eternally. The one who has all this is called Bhagavan. And these 6-fold wealth is called Bhaga. Bhaga means these 6-fold wealth. So Srimad Bhagavad, so this Bhagavan related to Bhagavan. And how is it related? Gita. Gita means Bhagavan has sung this. Although in this first chapter, there is only less than half a verse that Bhagavan has spoken. But still, the most important verses are those which are spoken by Bhagavan. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the scripture that has been sung by that infinite Lord. And singing, as we know, is possible only when one is happy. So that blissful Lord has sung this song of knowledge, which we get to listen to. So this Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and it says it, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and that is here used in the plural form. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita's, plural. Where is plural? There is only one. So here what it means is that each chapter is itself a scripture. Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So among the various chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and what is this Bhagavad Gita? Upanishads. Among all these Upanishads. So each chapter is equivalent to an Upanishad. And what does Upanishad mean? Upanishad means knowledge, pure knowledge. So each chapter is equivalent to an Upanishad, Upanishadsu. It is the essence of Upanishads. Brahma Vidyayam, in which the highest knowledge has been imparted. Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the supreme reality, has been given. So the main subject matter of Bhagavad Gita is this only. Nowadays we see that Bhagavad Gita used in management, Bhagavad Gita for time management and mind control, Bhagavad Gita for making more wealth. That is not the main purpose. The main subject matter is Brahma Vidya. Other things, yes, possible that there other benefits also are there, other types of guidelines are also there, that is all there, no doubt. But that is not the main subject matter. The main subject matter is what? Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the reality. But the knowledge of the reality as expounded in the Upanishad is something we find that is very high and we need to study a lot, and it is very difficult to understand. This kind of intimidating relationship we may have sometimes with Upanishad. But here is saying Yoga Shastra means that Bhagavad Gita comes to our level and says, no, you want to walk this path. Where are you now? Here. Okay, start walking from this. Oh, you have reached here. You can walk from this. So Yoga Shastra giving us means which are applicable to us. Different kinds of disciplines, different types of paths have been indicated also. Techniques have been given also. See, for Brahma Vidya, techniques are not required. It is just the realization, I am that, over. But in order to be able to abide in that knowledge, I need to have a level of purity of mind. I need to have some clarity of thought. And for bringing that about, I need some kind of help with some techniques, etc. Because sometimes when we read these words, then we feel, oh, so Bhagavad Gita is a scripture where there is theory and there is practical. But in Upanishad and all, this practical is not there. Now, what is the most practical thing is, I am Brahman. Where nothing has to be done, but to reach the state of nothing has to be done, there is a lot to be done. And that is what Gita comes down to our level and says, you do this, you walk this path, do this much, and then you will reach a state where you don't have to do anything, you will realize your true nature. Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra. That is a Yoga Shastra. It initiates us into various disciplines. The Shastra means that which initiates, that which commands us. Yoga Shastra. And it is so beautifully presented in the form of a dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Samvada means a very healthy dialogue, where the student intently listens to the Guru, and then if he finds there are some things that he is not able to understand correctly or properly, he also has the freedom to ask questions. And when the student is asking questions, the teacher is quiet, listening. And when the student has finished asking, then he keeps quiet so that the teacher is able to speak. This is called samvada. Otherwise, sometimes we don't even know how to ask questions. We interrupt the teacher halfway as the teacher is speaking. But my question, you know what? But let him finish at least. And sometimes the teacher also, when the student is, I told you this, why are you again and again asking? But listen to the question first. There may be something more. So here, Sri Krishna and Arjuna are ideal teacher-student, whose dialogues are so clear because nobody is trying to interrupt each other. Nobody is in a hurry to speak. Krishna says, okay, you want to ask. One full chapter given. You say whatever you want to say. I am not going to interrupt you, because let that everything flow. Only then we will know what is it. Only then you will know what has happened. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. And the name, every chapter has a name. Prathamodhyaya, first chapter, ends here. But the name of this first chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishada means sorrow. Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's sorrow. In each chapter is called yoga. That is why also it is called Yoga Shastra. Because each chapter is named as some other yoga. So the first chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Now what does yoga mean? Yoga means to unite. Unite with what? With whom? So ultimately, as human beings, we need to unite with our own true nature, or in the language of devotion, we say we unite with the Lord. So this you being united, being one, yoga, here it is said Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna's sorrow has led him to yoga. Oh, this is good news. Why? If somebody asks, are you doing your sadhana? And I'm already on the path of yoga. Why? Because sorrow comes to me unasked. I'm all the time sorrowful. So I am on the path of yoga only, because Vishada can become yoga. But for whom? For Arjuna. So Vishada is not something that we have to work towards. What we have to work towards is becoming Arjuna. So if we are Arjuna, our Vishada also can become yoga. Our Vishada also can take us to the Lord, take us to the Supreme Reality. So, what is Arjuna now? Now we have in detail in the very beginning itself discussed about Arjuna, his qualities. To just quickly recap, Arjuna, the name itself means the one who is straightforward. Straightforward in thinking, speaking, doing. Not complicated, thinking something and speaking something and doing something else only. No. Straightforward. Arjuna. So that straightforwardness, that comes with purity. That purity Arjuna has. If he is not convinced about something, he will not say it and he will not do it. He is clear. I don't think we should fight. Sat down. Over. It is not that, I think I should not fight. I am convinced about it. But then what will Krishna think? What will these people think? So let me take up my bow and arrow. Let me just do something. No. I am convinced. Straightforward. I am like this. Whatever people think, what can I do? This is my condition. What to do? Straightforward. Second thing, the greatest, the best thing that he did in life is he chose Bhagwan. That you be with me in this war. So, that again is Arjuna. So, to become Arjuna, I need to choose Bhagwan and not Bhagwan's army. So, what do I choose in life? Okay, no, Bhagwan's army, such choices I don't get very often, So for me, something applicable to me, you should say. Applicable to us is, at least we can have people who are knowledgeable, wise, our well-wishers. We can keep such people around us. That is called satsang. That is very important. So remaining in satsang, Arjuna chose satsang over the army also. He said satsang will protect me. Army may not be able to. And that was proved. He was proved right. He had Bhagwan by his side. That is the reason his Vishada, his sorrow also became yoga. Otherwise it was, even Duryodhan was in that Vishada. He was also under similar stressful mental state. We have seen that. But he did not choose Bhagwan. He chose the army. So he did not have that kind of company of someone. See, we find Dronacharya was not a bad person. But was he from his heart a well-wisher of Duryodhan? Very few people were well-wishers of Duryodhan. In fact, even his dearest friend Karna, he said, I have given my word and he has been standing by my side when I had nobody else. Therefore, it is my duty to stand by his side. He did not say, I am his well-wisher. If we look at it, who was his well-wisher? Shakuni? He had come, his agenda was to destroy this whole family. He was not his well-wisher. His brothers did not know any better than him. He was nobody's well-wisher and nobody was his well-wisher. So he did not have even one person who was genuinely wishing well for him. Just if we imagine Duryodhana's this condition, it really is like pitiable condition. And sometimes we also think about it. We need to understand we have to have somebody. Yes, choosing the Lord is, of course, ultimately that is the thing. But even in our transactional life, there needs to be at least one person. Arjun did not need an army of, just one Krishna was there, and that made his Vishad also into yoga. We need somebody whom we can be ourselves with. No judgment, nothing. I can just be myself, whatever I am. Being very sure that this person is not going to judge me, is not going to take advantage of me, and is only going to guide me on the right path. That confidence, such a person is required in everybody's life, and there are enough in our life. We have to recognize them and connect with them and be around them or keep them with us. And it could be anybody. It does not matter what age, it does not matter how many years we know that person since, it does not matter whether it is a relative or not, does not matter, nothing matters. It could be older or younger, it could be related or not related, it could be a long time association, it could be a short time acquaintance, whatever, but we will find that thing. And this is not comfort zone we are talking about. We are talking about a non-judgmental environment, and Arjuna chose that in Krishna, and therefore his sorrow also became yoga. So even when his personality was collapsing, that was his doorway to success. Sitting down, dropping his weapons was also his stepping stone to victory. Why? Only reason is Krishna was there with him. So becoming Arjuna is the only thing that will lead us to this yoga, even through sorrow. So Arjuna Vishada Yoga. And what can trigger that experience or that dispassion, that vairagya may come to me? I just get that resolve happens so strongly and I just start walking the path. That inspiration can come from anywhere, any place. This is very, significant. Tulsidas Ji's story, those who know Tulsidas Ji, when he was extremely attached to his wife, he went out of the way to get her company. So she got really mad at him. And she said, the kind of attachment you have for this bag of bones and flesh, if you had that for Bhagavan Sri Rama, you would get liberated. And that stinging words of the wife completely turned his life. This is called satsang. That there was somebody who was a well-wisher and also capable of turning the course of one's life. And that moment may be very painful. But what it resulted in, the rest is history, what Tulsidas Ji did. Otherwise, we would not have known his name. So this Arjuna Vishada is also yoga. So the first chapter teaches us to be in satsang, to choose satsang over anything else. And also, the last few verses we also discussed that what happens to our mind the mental state when we keep on focusing on the negativities, on that which is impossible, that which is difficult, that which is unconducive. If we are going to constantly brood over those things, we will end up being that. So he constantly said, "Oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong." And then he said, we are all going to commit sin. We are all sinners. We will be doomed. I don't think this should be done. And he deteriorated his this confidence with which he entered. All that gone, dropped the weapons and sat down. That is the condition that he ended up in. So where is our mind? We may have the best of company. Bhagavan Shri Krishna sitting with him. But where is the mind? The mind, if it is focused on, no, and it starts with seeing faults in others. But if it is focused only in the faults, because we hear in scriptures and all, we say that people also, all gurus, acharyas, all they also advise, don't look at the weaknesses, shortcomings, and faults of others. You look at the good qualities in others. And so why should we neglect? Why should we ignore those? Nobody excuses me for my shortcomings, and then why should I? But the point is, when we keep on focusing on others' negativities, I actually start increasing that energy within myself and slowly get drained. On the other hand, if I see the goodness in people, that goodness is going to increase in me. So it is actually for my benefit that I am seeing goodness. And the point is, whether I see any negativity or any positive quality, if I am seeing it somewhere means I have it in me. So if there is negativity I am seeing, there is at least a little bit of that is there in me. Same way, if I am seeing goodness, at least a little bit of that is there in me. I need to understand. And if I keep on focusing on that, that little bit will keep on increasing. So what do we want to increase? What do we want to focus on? So Arjuna teaches us that. With that understanding, now we move on to the second chapter. Now here, this Arjuna disease, we know, and it is not that once upon a time Arjuna suffered from this disease and a nervous breakdown. No, this happens in our lives day in and day out. It is universal in nature. It can happen to us. It can happen to anybody around us. And it can happen at the most unexpected time. It is not we need a full-fledged war to get into this state. It could be a small little challenge, and we are in that state. So this Arjuna disease is there. It can happen to anybody at any time. The first thing is we have to understand that. Second thing is, when this challenges come, that is when really, who am I in the transactional world, I will know. These challenges expose us. Otherwise, I am ready, I am confident, until there is a challenge. What is the point? When there is no work, I am really confident and energetic. As soon as you show me work, I am tired. Just thinking of it, I am tired. Then what is the point? So if this is the condition, so all of us go through this. Arjun also, full confidence. Come on, 12, 13 years prepared for this, single pointed, focused. Did not like when anybody talked about peace. And there he is, As soon as he reached the battlefield, decided not to fight. So, training till the war. Just imagine if soldiers do this. Wherever in any country, the soldiers, they train, and then they say, we will fight, we will fight, we will fight, until there is a situation. That day they said, we don't think we can do it. Then why did you go undergo so much of training? And it is not just about soldiers, with us also. Small little challenges. We study, we are very confident until we go to the examination hall. And the question paper comes. Challenge. I don't think I can do this. Poor things, all my fellow students, if I write and if I excel, those people will come second, third, fourth. They should also get a chance to come first. So I give up. I won't write the exam. So we also get into such kind of silly things also. They bother us. But it is there. First of all, we have to acknowledge that it is there and it can happen at any time. And when challenges come, that's when we really understand ourselves better. And we also need to understand challenges are served to us in specific measured quantities to help us grow. If there are no challenges, there is no growth. Which is what the famously it is, we all must have heard, there is no gain without pain. But we also should understand there is no pain without gain. And that's a choice. That if we are undergoing pain, what is the gain I can have? Arjuna gained the highest because of his pain. But are we following Arjuna in this aspect? Because there is no gain without pain. This is a rule. But there is no pain without gain is a choice. Whether I gain or not, or I just keep on suffering. Guruji used to say, one doctor, the patient went. He said, these are the symptoms. The doctor checked and all. Are you suffering from arthritis? So you seem to be having a lot of pain. Are you suffering from arthritis? The patient was really very impatient. He was not patient. He said, have you met anyone who enjoys arthritis? Of course I am suffering. So I am suffering only. What is there? But that suffering is there through that suffering. Am I gaining something? Am I using that suffering to become introvert, to think about something greater, to understand my abilities, to strengthen my strengths and weaken my weaknesses? So, what am I using that suffering for? What am I using that pain for? And if we look at the external situation, external world, the world has only laws, rules. The world does not work on emotions. The world does not work on preferences. The world works on laws. This is the law. Whether we say nature, whether it is society, whatever it may be, there are rules. Now, there may be some situations which turn out to be challenging, but we have to understand if we were not capable of facing it and conquering it, it would not have come to us. Because first the capacity comes to us, only then the challenge comes to us. Always so. If we look at even how nature works, Then we find animals, birds, etc. So when it rains, immediately we take out our umbrellas or we run for shelter, go somewhere. Now, if we think about it, birds, where do they get shelter? Trees, we have not left any. Whatever little trees are there, that also actually, it is not a waterproof tree. On the branch of a tree also, it is raining only for them constantly. In fact, after rain stops also, it is raining for them for some more time. Wherever they go and sit, they are in rain. And we, oh, how are they managing? They have the capacity. They can manage. And that's the reason nature has made them as they are. So they are not in a pitiable condition. We don't have to say, oh, poor birds, each monsoon, poor things, they have to all the time. No, they are fine. Similarly, we also. If we are given a situation, we face a situation, we have to understand we have the ability. Therefore, this has come. Arjuna was not brought to Mahabharat war when he was a student under Dronacharya. First day of his Gurukul, he came. Okay, hold the bow. This is the way you should hold the bow. Come, let's go for Mahabharat war. No, after so many years of experience, after fighting and winning over the same army standing in front of him, the Hastinapur army has already defeated single-handedly. Now only there are some more additions, but he has also has on his side also there are so many additions. So when he is seeing that after all this only he has been brought there and he is the hero. But sometimes what happens is when you are the best, you are under a lot of pressure to maintain that. Someone who gets passing mark, they celebrate. And somebody who is always first, if they come second also, they start crying. I got 95% only. And the other guy says, even opposite I would have got. My 2 years marks will also not be 59. And you have got 95 in one. And go. So the Arjuna disease happens and Krishna cure is also always there. Puja Gurudev very beautifully says, now the condition, what is the condition of Arjuna? He says the condition, Gurudev uses the word despondency. Arjuna's despondency. And he defines this very beautifully. He says that when I know I should act, I also feel I want to act, yet I am not able to act. That is called despondency. I know I should do it, but unable to. So even if I wish to, I am not able to. And who is stopping me? There is no external force that is stopping me. I have become benumbed because of my own thoughts. My thoughts have arrested my movement, my abilities. This is the state of despondency that Arjuna is in. And sometimes we also get into that state. That is why, sometimes we say we must have heard of such things, or sometimes in movies and all also they show that somebody is crossing the road and suddenly there is a bus or a truck approaching and the person does not know what to do. And there is enough time, there are few seconds. So when we watch a movie like that, we may say, no, why is he just staring at the bus? Just go ahead. So many seconds you have, you're just staring at the bus. Just walk ahead over. It's just 2 feet more and then over, you're safe. But what happened? Despondency. You don't know what to do. You know you should run away from there. But God. So, this is the condition in which Arjuna is in. He has sat down on the seat of the chariot. He has let go of his arms, and now Sanjaya, because now Arjuna, what was the last thing? He said, I don't want to fight. And having said that, he dropped his bow and arrow and he sat down. That was the last thing that Arjuna spoke. And then Sanjay also described that. So now Dhritarashtra was eager. And what happened? Arjuna ran away. He is not fighting anymore. So what did Krishna say? Did he agree with him or not? What happened after that? So there is no suspense. So then Sanjaya has to continue. So the second chapter opens with Sanjaya's description. अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः संजय उवाच तं तथा कृपयाविष्टम् अश्रुपूर्णाकुलेक्षणम् विषीदन्तमिदं वाक्यम् उवाच मधुसूदनः Madhusudana is the only word for Krishna, rest all words are for Arjuna only in this verse. Because the condition of Arjuna was such that maybe Sanjay also never saw him in this condition. What a pitiable condition. What happened? That Arjuna, what was his condition like? Kripaya avishtam. Overcome with this feeling of pity. Overcome with this misplaced feeling of pity. Kripaya avishtam. A defeatist attitude, cowardice. And in that condition, what is happening to him? How it is? Ashrupurna akula ikshanam. Ikshanam means eyes. Akula, filled with. And he is not able to see because of Ashrupurna, because they are filled with tears. The eyes filled with tears, because of which he is not able to see clearly. The tears welling up in his eyes. Ashrupurna, means he is crying. Vishidantam, extremely dejected, drowned in sorrow. That kind of. Now, who is he? He is the heroic warrior of those times. He was worshipped by all the soldiers. He was the greatest hero that time could know. That kind of great warrior Arjuna. What is his condition? Overcome with this grief, overcome with this misplaced sense of pity, filled with this cowardice, and already he has camouflaged his cowardice, covered up with glorious terms. And in this crying, tears in his eyes, not even able to see, in that condition, when Arjuna was there, to such Arjuna in this condition, idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana. Madhusudana, the Lord, idam vakyam uvacha, spoke these words, the following words. So Arjuna's condition is he is come as a warrior, he is dressed up as a warrior, he is trained to be a warrior, he is in the place where warriors have gathered, but he is sitting on the chariot, dropped the weapons, dejected and crying. Now, do we see these two opposite things? Appearance, warrior, but behavior, crying. So, this condition of Arjuna, Sri Krishna now speaks. So, after this full first chapter, the whole series of arguments that Arjuna presented, and when he became quiet, only after that Sri Krishna spoke. And what he is going to speak is also not the final thing that he really wants to speak. In sometimes certain conditions that we are in, when we are in that state of stupor, sometimes they give mild electricity they pass through. They have those. So you shake up the person. Then the sensation comes, and then that person slowly gets back to senses. This is called shock treatment. So here there is no physical treatment. The problem is not physical. Therefore, the treatment also is not physical, it is verbal. Shock treatment. Electricity passing. These are the kind of words that Sri Krishna is speaking now. It is when we see this word, the name with which Sanjay is referring to, Madhusudan. Madhu is the name of a demon whom Sri Krishna killed. Therefore, he is called Madhusudana. But Madhu also means sweet. The honey which is sweet. So, sweetness, Madhuram. So, here, when he is speaking, Idam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudana, means this Vakya, which all the sweetness has been taken away. Very stinging words. No sweetness is there. Madhusudana, taken away all sweetness, stating the truth as it is without honeying it. Madhusudana. That also becomes significant when we think in that manner. So this Madhusudana is, what does he say? Two verses are there which Bhagavan speaks. We will chant the way we chant, but then it is actually not supposed to be chanted that way. But let us first chant. Kutastva kashmalamidam Vishame samupasthitam Anarya jushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna Klaibyam masmagamah partha Naitatvayupapadyate Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam Tyaktvottishta parantapa. This is actually supposed to be chanted because Bhagavan would not have said like this. It is Madhusudana's words. Shock treatment will not be Kutastva kashmalamidam Vishame samupasthitam. It is not this mood. He is scolding. Kutastva kashmalamidam Vishame samupasthitam Anarya jushtam asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. Bhagavan, don't scold me at So that is the tone of this, but we are chanting, so we chant, it's okay. He's looking at Bhagavan. When we read this verse, we understand that he has rejected all the arguments presented by Arjuna. For first chapter, he listened to him. More than 25 verses, 25, 26 verses, he listened to Arjun almost. And at the end of it, what is this, Arjuna? In this Vishame Samupastitam, in this critical juncture, in the battlefield, at this time, when you should be at your best, your strongest self should come out and face this challenge. At this time, when you are faced with such a situation, when I expect the best out of you, at that time, Vishame Samupastitam, Idam Kashmalam Kudah. Where did this cowardice come from? Where did this weakness come from? Where did this negativity come from? It's a rhetorical question. Not that, oh, it has come, I think it came from somewhere. No. Where has this come from? What is this? Why? No. So, at this time, in this place, where has this weakness come from? What is this? What are you doing? And now, Arjun may say, no, it is not weakness or something, it's a matter of concern. I'm concerned about my family. It is genuine love for my family. In great families, we think like this only. We belong to Aryavarta. The land is called Aryavarta, means the place where Aryas live. Arya means what? Arya means a respectable person worthy of respect, worship. And why? Because that person is, a thinker, a knowledgeable person, revels in knowledge. So that I'm Arya, that is why I am doing it. He says, this whatever you have spoken so far and the condition that you are in right now, crying in the face of this war, Anarya Jushtam. It is not befitting any respectable, dignified person. No respectable person will do like this. Anarya Jushtam. It is unacceptable to any honorable person of the society. You go ask anybody. No dignified person will approve of this behavior of yours at this time. So unacceptable. But Krishna, okay, it may be low, whatever you say, I don't know, but then, I don't want to go to hell, at least, this sin and all. I don't want to commit this sin. I don't want to go to hell. If I leave this, I know I will go to heavens at least. Aswargyam. This does not lead you to Swarga also. It is not going to lead you to any happiness. It is not going to lead you to heaven. Oh. Okay, never mind, I sacrifice my heaven also, never mind. But at least people will appreciate me. Akirti karam. You will not get any name or fame. People will actually defame you. People will insult. Nothing you are going to gain. Not name and fame here. No heavens, etc. And not even acceptance in the honorable gatherings or society. Nothing. Nothing you are going to get. So whatever you think that, no, if I behave like this, if I think like this, if I act like this will be, none of these things will be available. No name and fame here, no gain in the onward journey, no heaven or any such thing, and not even accepted by any great person. Because the great people, whatever the great people accept and approve of, that is considered to be the right path which will lead to liberation. So you are not going to get liberation also. So no fame, no heaven, no liberation. Nothing is available for you if you behave like this. This is the condition you have landed yourself into. This is not going to help you in any way, now or later. So this was like, Bhagwan, you don't consider any of my argument worthy of even at least let's discuss. No, this is not acceptable. Over. Krishna was so straight. Where have you landed into this? Come on. So now there are so many people who do this much at least. This is also good help, but they stop here. What? What is this? What is this condition you have landed yourself into? You're drowning in sorrow. This is not done. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. Okay, I know I am in a mess. Now what? Now, what should I do now? That also somebody has to help me, because when I am in this state of stupor, I have reached here because I am not able to think straight. I am not able to think at all, actually. That is why I have reached here. Now, if somebody says you have reached in a, you have landed yourself in a worst possible condition, okay, now what do I do? That person will not be even in a condition to ask what should I do. So that is why when we say that, in a society, we help each other. So when there is sorrow in somebody else's life, we remind that person that you already know, but then now get up. And same way, when I have sorrow, the person repeats my own words, which I spoke 6 months ago to that person. That time I didn't have to have any problem, but now I am in problem, so that person comes and speaks the same words that I spoke. And you remember, you only told me this. Now get up. Yeah, okay. So that also helps. So here, Sri Krishna is just not leaving him saying that you have landed yourself in such a worse condition. Now what should you do? So and that also in a very stinging way. So what did he say? We'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.